targeting of a woman chief minister who's been democratically elected by 62 MLAs in the Union Territory of Delhi. The PWD then alleged that former chief minister has been asked to submit her case, but that was not done yet, which is why this action was taken. To which Aam Aadmi Party leaders came out and said that they had a confirmation, a letter from the General Administration Department which said that there were no dues pending from Arvind Kejriwal, who was her predecessor, which is why there's no reason why she shouldn't have moved in. The Public Works Department then said that this home cannot be handed directly to the new CM, that the allotment rights are only with the PWD. To which the Aam Aadmi Party said that this is nothing but BJP trying to capture the Chief Minister's residence using the LG's office, a charge they've made many a times in the past. Another allegation that came to the fore from the PWD of why they took this action was that, like I said, the right to allot a residence is only with the PWD, and one Chief Minister cannot unilaterally decide to give the residence to another Chief Minister. The Aam Aadmi Party said that the PWD was defying protocol to withhold this allotment, even though that request was made by Atishi when she had to move into this residence. So even as we now see a political war of words going on between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party, or the central government versus the Delhi government, and the Chief Minister remains locked out, is this vendetta or is there violation on part of the Aam Aadmi Party? We'll get into that, but first take a look at these war of words.
तो अब वो चाहते हैं कि मुख्यमंत्री तो बन नहीं पाए, किसी तरह से मुख्यमंत्री आवास पर ही कब्जा कर लें। उनका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी जो कह रही है वो कोई ना मानेंगे। जो हमने देखा है, आपने कभी देखा हो कि मनीष सिसोदिया जी के AB17 पे ताला लगा हो, 2 दिन लगा हो? क्योंकि 2 दिन ताला इसलिए लगा है क्योंकि हैंडिंग ओवर टेकिंग ओवर में 2 दिन लगता है और वो लिस्ट ऑफ इन्वेंट्री बन रही है। कभी आपने सुना है? कभी आपने देखा है?
जब कानून अपना काम करता है, अरविंद केजरीवाल और आम आदमी पार्टी झूठे आरोप लगाना शुरू करती है।
केजरीवाल की इस पूरे प्रकरण की जांच होनी चाहिए कि किस प्रकार पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री ने वर्तमान मुख्यमंत्री को अवैध रूप से कब्जा करवाया।
Let's open this up. RP Singh, national spokesperson of the BJP, joins us. Siddharth Sharma, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, and Umesh Sehgal, former Chief Secretary of Delhi. Let me open this up first before we get into the politics. I want to ask the former Chief Secretary of Delhi. Umesh Sehgal, you must have seen what exactly has happened, the allegations that have been coming in from both sides. In your opinion, who do you think is the violator here? Because both sides say it's not us, it's the other side.
It's not for me to judge who is the violator. All I can say is that the rules are very clear on the subject. In Delhi, there is only one earmarked house, that is the Rajnivas of the Lieutenant Governor. Other houses are all belonging to the general pool. General pool houses can be allotted as per the entitlement of the officer or the minister, as the case may be, or and there is a procedure laid down. You have to apply for the same and you are granted, and there is always a seniority list laid down. Now, as far as the Chief Minister is concerned, if you see Delhi's history, Mr. Madanlal Khurana, when he was the first Chief Minister, he lived in the Mayor's house. There was no house as such earmarked for the Chief Minister. The second Chief Minister lived in his own house. Then Sushma Swaraj was living in the central government house. For 15 years, Madam Dikshit was living in the house allotted by the central government. I think the same house in which Mr. Atishi is living now. Or maybe it was a different house, but it was in Pandara Road. Now, in Delhi, there is no earmarked house. When there is no earmarked house, there has to be a proper allotment. And the allotment procedure is very clear. It is laid down. And allotments are not made by junior engineers, certainly not. They are made at a more senior level, maybe at the ministerial level or maybe even higher. But it has to be in writing, and it has to be because ultimately when the house is handed over, you take over a handing over and changing over report, and it is not just the house which is handed over. In this particular case, it would be a large number of air conditioners, it would be a lot of furniture, it would be curtains, and I don't know what else. There will be a large number of other things which have to be taken over. So obviously the authority which has put these things in place has the right to get a list made. Number one, get it signed by the person who is leaving, and then when it is handed over to the new incumbent, get it signed from the new incumbent, so that the responsibility is fixed and you finally can make an inventory. After all, these are all government properties. These are not somebody's personal properties. So the procedure has to be followed, and if the procedure has not been followed, I think the person who has not followed the procedure is to be blamed. Now in this case, I don't think the Chief Minister can be given the blame, because what is stated is that the junior engineer handed over the key to her staff. And the staff told her that, probably must have told her, I presume was told her, that it has been properly allotted. So when she moved into the house, she must have been under the impression that it has been properly allotted and no rules have been broken. But the point is, once she came to know that rules have been broken, she should have either sought ex post facto approval, or as is the case now, whether she has walked out or she has been forced to move out, I can't say. But it was only proper that she vacated the house or sought ex post facto approval. I don't think the ex post facto approval has been sought. If it had been sought, I think it would be either have been allowed or it should have been rejected. But to move into a house in which there is crores worth of government property without a proper handing over, taking over, is not proper for anyone. And it's not safe also, because anybody can later claim that this property was there and now it is not there. So I think it would be safe to have a list made of all the, and this is not just a house. As I said before, this is a house with properties, with lot of furniture, with lot of air conditioners, with lot of I don't know what else, a lot of other things.
And it's public property, so to say the least, there have to be answers to certain questions that are cropping up now. Siddharth Sharma, at least would you concede to that? That were the procedures followed? Was there enough time or response that was given as far as seeking that allotment, getting that allotment? Was all of that done or not? Those facts need to be put out.
Yeah. Poonam, I hope I'll get half the time of what the...
You'll get all your time, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I think Umesh sir has very clearly said that the present incumbent Chief Minister would not have entered that house unless the PWD gave the key to her. Be as that may, there is a context to what has happened. The context here is what an ignominy for BJP today. A party that swears by PM Awas Yojana and Ladli Behna has stooped to snatching residences of women. What an absurdity that although G and S, these two letters are absent in BJP, BJP has gate crashed and squatted on the official residence of a woman Chief Minister of a national capital. Doesn't it remind us of Trump squatting in White House even after getting defeated? During Navratri, when women across India are venerated, the BJP LG chose to throw out a woman Delhi Chief Minister, Atishi, from her official residence. But be as it may, I think true to Devi Durga's character, Atishi continues to serve the people of Delhi as mandated by the constitution from wherever she is. And the constitution too agrees to that. This insult to women during Navratri is the crowning glory of BJP's ignominy. Now, as far as everyone has seen, including right now your graphics are showing Arvind Kejriwal, the former Chief Minister, 6 people of his home, 3 generations, 6 people, left the home with just 2 small tempo loads of luggage, and then 6-7 days later, Atishi came in, and Atishi, the incumbent Chief Minister, does not get crushed. That key was given as per Umesh sir by the PWD. Now, after giving somebody the key, if you are snatching it back and asking him or her to vacate, isn't it an insult? It's as simple as that. BJP has chosen very deliberately to insult Aam Aadmi Party. But the point here is that Aam Aadmi Party, or just as the Delhi Chief Minister Atishi has said, we are not here for official bungalows or anything. We have a constitutional mandate to complete, and we are completing that mandate. I think you should be brave enough, CNN News 18 should be courageous enough to show the Atishi's tweets, wherein she is right now sitting in her personal residence, surrounded by all the things, the same things that are going out in carton boxes, surrounded both by those carton boxes and still going on doing her work. I think CNN News 18 should be brave enough to show those pictures.
I don't know
think
why you say we should be brave enough, because those pictures have been put out. Her response was also put out at the start of the show. But you may say that this is at the behest of the BJP, and RP Singh will respond to that. But you still haven't answered the question that I asked you. That at the very least, the people of Delhi need answers. So what exactly happened? If there was a letter, if there was allotment that was given by the PWD, maybe the Aam Aadmi Party should put that out and make everything clear.
Yeah, it's already in the public domain, Poonam. I think today Sanjay Singh ji had given out those papers. I think your reporters would be having it. On 4th of October at 11 o'clock, the former Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal vacated that residence, and the PWD gave a no due certificate of that residence. And after a few days, as per Umesh Sehgal sir himself said, the PWD people gave the keys to the new Chief Minister Atishi, and Atishi went in and occupied that. And after Atishi occupying it, if the LG has a objection to it, even if it's a technical objection, can I ask you one simple question, Poonam? I think all the people here on this show are intelligent enough and they are wise enough. The Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, on the day election results came, it became very clear that BJP had lost the majority. Earlier, BJP was at 303 seats. Then on the day of the results, it came down to 240 seats. Now, after a few days, say 1 week or 10 days later, when Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar supported him, the Prime Minister appointed him, the President appointed Mr. Narendra Modi as the new Prime Minister. So in that interim period, did the Prime Minister of India leave his house? Technically, he should have left it, no? Technically, he should have left it because he had lost the majority. Did he leave that? These kind of things, I think BJP, everyone knows BJP insults people. BJP basically believes in punishing. BJP sees power as a right to punish. The question here, the moot question, Poonam, is that 150 crore people of India are in need of services by the government. If the BJP only chooses to punish 150 people, who is going to serve the 150 crore people of India? BJP sees power not as a tool to service, but as a weapon to punish. I think that is the critical point here.
RP Singh, the BJP is using the LG's office. Sure, you've made that point. RP Singh, the allegation is that the BJP uses the governor's office, in this case the LG's office, and that allegation has been made against the BJP in multiple other states as well, to further your political agenda. And that's exactly what you've been doing in this particular case. When you threw out Atishi and her belongings out of the residence, that's what the Aam Aadmi Party says.
Well, in your show itself, the victim card was very well played, and then before starting the debate, he played a victim card, and you allowed him almost 12 minutes of the debate. You can allot him another 2 minutes more if he wants to speak something more and try to play his victim card. But fact is, can he show me? And one thing, he was actually wrong. The bungalow was vacated on 6th. The 5th, Mr. Kejriwal gave a letter to PWD saying that I'm handing over the keys to Mr. Vijay Kumar, one of the section officers in the PWD department, not on the 4th. I mean, that's factually incorrect. And also, then when you hand over the key, the complete list is being prepared of the inventory, and that inventory need to be prepared. That whether what all is there. We have just recently seen how the former chief ministers has taken away their taps and the air conditioners from the official bungalows for their personal use or whatever they have done with those water taps and with the air conditioner of the bungalows. But that point aside, so there's a procedure where inventory is being prepared. One. Secondly, this bungalow is already under investigation. Already under investigation because there is a commode of 4 lakh rupees. 4 lakh rupees commode. Now we don't know whether that commode is there or not. Whether Mr. Kejriwal was so fond of that commode, he took the commode along with in that box. Probably he took the commode only with him to the new house. So we don't know that. So that has to be inventory need to be prepared. And after that, the bungalow is allotted to whoever they want to allot. There is nothing like a CM residence in Delhi. There's no official CM residence in Delhi. There are pool of bungalows, and in bungalow which Atishi is still staying or still operating from is a former chief minister's house. It's the house where Mr. Sheila Dixit stayed and operated from for 5 years. So that's how it is. But fact is, they have to play a victim card, nothing more than that. They have to break the procedure, and all that love for that bungalow is only for, I told you, that 4 lakh commode is very expensive thing, and we don't know what What special is that commode? That 4 lakh commode is attraction for anyone who want to go to that bungalow. But that bungalow is under investigation, and let the investigation happen. And the complete investigation will let us know what all was spent, how 56 crore rupees, where all 56 crore rupees was spent, and after that, obviously, bungalow can be allotted to Atishi also for that regard. There's no ruling that she can't be allotted, but obviously there has to be allotment letter for that. It's not handing over a key. There's a proper allotment letter, as Mr. Kejriwal issued a letter that I'm vacating the bungalow. Similarly, Atishi would have been given an allotment letter, and appreciates Siddharth to show that letter on record. I mean, debate is still on for another 10 minutes. Before the debate ends over, he should send that allotment letter to you on the WhatsApp and saying that this is the formal allotment letter which was given by the PWD. So if that is one, then she has all the right to stay, and then she has all the right to file a case against the officials who has removed her stuff from the bungalow. But that is not there. She just walked in, she barged into a bungalow without getting an official letter. And as far he's saying that Prime Minister Modi ji was not a Prime Minister for that period, I'm sorry, sir, you are mistaken. There is a pre-poll alliance, and that pre-poll alliance continued, and we were in majority with that pre-poll alliance, and there was never a time when we were in minority.
Siddharth Sharma, is there an allotment letter?
Obviously, there is an allotment letter. The allotment letter is between the
Then why has that not been put out in public domain? Because the only letter that the Aam Aadmi Party is speaking of, the General Administration Department's letter, is that there are no pending dues from Arvind Kejriwal. That does not automatically give the right to the next person in line.
So, do you are you implying that Atishi, a lady, just get crashed into that?
I'm not implying anything. I'm asking you, is there a letter? And if yes, then why is it not in public domain?
Exactly. I've already put it on record that the PWD gave her permission and the letter to enter that property. Only then did she enter the property. Now that letter is between the PWD and the Chief Minister, and that letter has nothing to do with me as a spokesperson. The same.
How is that nothing to do with you as a spokesperson? If the Aam Aadmi Party comes and accuses another party of using the LG's office for their political vendetta, is the allegation that you make. Okay, Mr. Sharma, listen to me first.
Was there a letter between?
Mr. Sharma, listen to me first. Can I please ask you my question?
Yeah.
You say that as the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, it's not your job to put out the letter. It is your job to put out that letter, because like I said, at the very least, the people of Delhi need answers. It is public property.
That letter is between the PWD and the Chief Minister, and the Chief Minister will put it in public domain or whichever domain is needed, as and when the time comes. It is nice. That's what I'm saying. Can the BJP today show that in the interim period, when the Prime Minister of India had become a non-functional lame duck Prime Minister, can they show a letter?
He was still the caretaker Prime Minister. He was still the caretaker Prime Minister. The BJP says they had enough numbers to form another government. So I don't think your analogy works here, Mr. Sharma.
Just like that. And the BJP doing it is in an insult, and that too during Navaratri. It's as simple as that.
You can say that, but like I said, there is no letter to show that she was given the allotment letter. The Aam Aadmi Party has said we have a letter, there are no dues from Arvind Kejriwal, that the keys were given to her by a PWD officer.
Or Mr. Siddharth Sharma, that is privileged conversation, and the Chief Minister, duty bound, she is also.
How is that privileged or a private conversation? This is public property.
She will come out. So are you implying that Miss Atishi get crashed into that property?
I'm not implying anything. I'm asking you, is there a letter? And if there is, then put it out in public domain. It will only boost your case further, isn't it?
A woman anchor during Navaratri.
I don't know what this has got to do with my gender or her gender, to be honest.
Just on technicalities, just because a spokesperson is
not. I mean, me being a woman anchor, she being a woman chief minister, I don't know what that's got to do with anything or following protocol.
So are you saying that the Chief Minister of Delhi did not follow protocol?
Those are the questions that are being asked.
The question is being asked that throwing a Chief Minister out of her house, is it following protocol? Is it following courtesy? Is it gentlemanly behavior? Is that behavior in consonance with the Indian ethos of Charles, Chehra and Sanskriti, as said, told by BJP?
What Sanskriti are you talking about? You barge into a Chief Minister's house which is under inquiry and you talk about Sanskriti? You barged into your house without proper allotment. You were not allotted a house.
You are barging into the
No,
chief
no, no, you
minister's
never
house
allotted a
because
house.
you've been out of power for 27
No, no, I give
years.
a challenge to Mr.
Aarti
Siddharth.
Singh,
Please
you've
show
been
that
so much
letter.
out of power.
Show that
Just-
letter.
Exactly.
Show that letter
My
which was
earlier
there of
statement
allotment
that
of the bungalow to the chief
reeks
minister,
of
the new chief minister.
Trumpism, the way Trump tried to
Sir,
sneak into
this is
the White
all that
House
love for
after
that
being
4 lakh
defeated.
rupees
BJP
seat
for
which Mr.
27
Kejriwal
years
got
is out
for
of power
himself.
in Delhi and it is
वो
trying to
4
sneak
लाख
into the
की
chief
जो कोर्ट
minister's
सीट है, जो
house. It is
कमोड
as
है, ये
simple as
उसकी
that.
मोहब्बत
You
है
are
जो बोल
squatting
रही है.
into a woman's house and trying to throw a woman away, and that is your Chal Charitran Chehra. That is
He is the
BJP's
chief
Chal
minister.
Charitran Chehra
He is the-
during Navratri.
Sir, he is the
that
chief
when
minister of
people
the state.
venerate women
Okay, the
in
fact
home,
that she's a woman chief minister and this is Navratri, I don't think has got to do anything with the fact that protocols need to be followed irrespective of
all the protocols-
who is the one that's following it. If that's what the Aam Aadmi Party said, great. Please put that evidence out in public domain. That's the only thing that I've been saying.
Something a letter between the PWD and the chief minister who is sworn to office.
So then that
and
letter of the General Administration Department, which was between the General Administration Department and Arvind Kejriwal, why was that put out? Was that not private and privileged information?
Channels, the residence that was vacated has been very clear that there is no due there.
So then why is
when
that
Mr.
letter not
Atishi
privileged and
says
private
about
information?
the commode of 4 lakh rupees, that is hearsay. Can I say that the Prime Minister of India eats 40,000 rupees worth of mushroom?
Sure, those might be in the realm of allegations and there's no truth to it. Mr. Sharma, tell me one thing.
That's why.
Sure, but Mr. Sharma, tell me one thing.
BJP
Okay, okay, Mr. Sharma, please, can I ask you my question? Please listen to me and please answer one thing for me. The General Administration Department's letter that cleared Arvind Kejriwal of any pending dues against him, that was put out by the Aam Aadmi Party, yes?
Yes.
So that's not private and privileged information which can be put out in the public domain. But another letter that's given to another person in the Aam Aadmi Party, that's private and that should not be put out. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that when Arvind Kejriwal vacated the house, he was no more a chief minister. But when a PWD asks a chief minister to come in and occupy a place, a chief minister, a letter between PWD and the chief minister.
I don't think that analogy stands, sir. But anyway, the Aam Aadmi Party is entitled to have.
If it doesn't stand,
Sure, the Aam Aadmi Party is entitled to have its opinion, sir. But like I said, these questions will be asked. Sumit Nagpal.
In the interim period when
Sure, you've made that point 3 times now, sir, on the show. Please, RP Singh and Siddharth Sharma, I request you to stay on with us. Advocate Sumit Nagpal is also with us on this broadcast. Thank you for patiently waiting. But the allegations that we see, it comes at a time when there is multi-agency probe going on as far as this residence is concerned. It's public property. There are allegations of alleged irregularities there which need to be investigated, which are being investigated. At such a time, should there have been a passing of the residence? Whether protocol was followed or not, that's one aspect of it. Should they have steered clear ethically as well?
See, before I start my point, I remember a very senior lawyer telling me, when you have no merit in your case, then you should go to the court and start shouting. So this is what I was witnessing just before my panelist was speaking. I do not think they have any answer. And when it comes to the constitution or Indian law, the law is very clear. The procedure established by law has been given a lot of credence, lot of thought in the constitution as well as our legal procedures. And when the procedure says that this has to be done, then that particular thing has to be done. As far as the handing over of the bungalow is concerned, I can tell you it is the prerogative of the PWD whether they want to allot any bungalow to any particular person or not. And when it comes to allotment, many things are seen. The seniority is seen, whether the post, the kind of post a person is holding, that is seen. And they cannot come and say that we had been allotted this bungalow for Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. Similarly, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal had the ownership of this bungalow, and that is why he could hand it over to anyone. Mr. Kejriwal was there in the capacity of the chief minister, and when this bungalow was allotted to him. Now, when he has vacated it, the PWD will take over the bungalow. Then again, they will issue the allotment letter subject to all the necessary formalities being completed. And right now, just coming and saying that just because Atishi is a woman and that is why she is being targeted, it is the worst kind of argument I have ever seen on a TV debate. I do not think that when it comes to procedure, how can you say that it is privileged communication? Mr. Sharma, I think, needs to read about law of privileges before saying that it was privileged communication. Atishi Marlena, I'm sorry, Atishi Singh now, she is the Chief Minister of Delhi, and I can tell you that when it comes to the law, we have Right to Information Act. Whatever communication goes, it is before public, it can be taken out in the RTI. How can you say that this was a privileged communication? So I do not think that there is any problem as far as the actions of the PWD are concerned. And as far as the rest of the procedure, the rest of the inquiry which is going on, it is for the CBI to decide, it is for the investigating agency to decide if they want to go to the place, they want to conduct any inquiry, they will ask PWD for the permission. There is no problem in that.
Sure. So whether or not there was communication between the PWD and the Aam Aadmi Party, and if there was, should the Aam Aadmi put that out in public domain and put the debate to rest? Wouldn't that be the easiest way to end this controversy right there, nip it in the bud? That's the question we want to leave you with. I am completely out of time. I thank you all gentlemen for joining us here on this broadcast and sharing your perspective. Time for a quick break on the other side, but up next we pay our tributes to the architect of modern India's growth story as we bid adieu to Ratan Tata.
Lights! Iconic industrialist and one of the most respected businessmen of India, Ratan Tata was born to Parsi parents Naval and Sunu Tata in Bombay in 1937. Ratan was raised by an indulgent yet disciplinarian grandmother Nawajbai along with younger brother Jimmy after their parents were separated. Life was luxurious for the young Tatas, but their grandmother instilled a strong set of values in them. Young Ratan played a lot of cricket, learned the piano while leading a protected life. Ratan Tata studied in Bombay's famous schools Campion and Cathedral and John Cannon. He would say later that he was shy, fearful of public speaking and not into too many extracurricular activities. After school, Ratan Tata set sail to the United States to study architecture and structural engineering at Cornell University. The years he spent in the US from 1955 to 1962 had a tremendous influence on him. He traveled the country and was ready to settle down in Los Angeles. But his love affair with America broke as Lady Nawajbai's health deteriorated and he was forced to return to a life he thought he had left behind. In India, he had a job offer from IBM, but J.R.D. Tata wouldn't allow him to join there and asked for his resume. That's how Ratan Tata joined Tata Industries in 1962 as an assistant and spent 6 months at Telco and Tisco plants in Jamshedpur. In 1965, he was appointed technical officer in Tisco's engineering division, and in 1969, he worked as the Tata Group's resident representative in Australia. In 1965, he was appointed technical officer in Tisco's engineering division, and in 1969, he worked as the Tata Group's resident representative in Australia. He returned to India in 1970 to join Tata Consultancy Services for a short stint. His first big job was with Nelco, where he was made director in charge in 1971. In 1974, he joined the board of Tata Sons as a director and rose to become chairman of Tata Industries in 1981. In 1991, as the Indian economy was on the threshold of liberalization, Ratan Tata took over from J.R.D. Tata as chairman of Tata Sons to run the group founded by his great-grandfather more than 100 years ago. He soon started restructuring the Tata Group. The group not only achieved spectacular growth, but it was under his leadership that the Tata Group saw a series of high-profile acquisitions like Tetley, Chorus and Jaguar Land Rover. The billionaire's empire extended from salt to the world's second largest tea business to giants in steel, software and hotels. A car enthusiast himself, in 2008, Ratan Tata launched the Tata Nano, his dream project of small but super cheap cars for millions of Indians. It came to be known as the people's car due to its affordable pricing. The project hit a roadblock in Singur and had to shift to Gujarat. In December 2012, he stepped down as chairman of Tata Sons after 50 years with the Tata Group and was appointed chairman emeritus of Tata Sons. A big backer of education and healthcare, Ratan Tata generously funded many philanthropic projects, prominent research institutes and cancer hospitals. After his retirement, not one to sit still, he quietly helped young and bright minds by investing millions in their startups. Ratan Tata's unconditional love for dogs is well known, and he built a pet hospital in Mumbai. He is once said to have missed an invitation from Prince Charles because one of his pet dogs was ill. Even stray dogs were reportedly given free entry at the iconic Taj Mahal Hotel. Ratan Tata was awarded the Padma Vibhushan in 2008. Gentleman to a fault, with his passing, India has lost one of its shining jewels that glittered for many decades and enriched millions of lives. It's truly the end of an era.
India lost one of its biggest icons, an industry legend, last night. Ratan Tata, Chairman Emeritus of Tata Sons, who led a modest, unassuming life, was laid to rest with state honours just a short while ago in Mumbai in the presence of his loved ones and every individual whose life was touched by a gentle soul like him. He will be remembered for his contribution to the Indian industry and putting it on a global map. Tata would say that he wanted to be remembered as someone who worked for the best interests of business and was able to make a change so enormous and monumental that will live on in hearts and minds of billions across the world. Those words ring true today as we bid farewell to him. And joining me to pay tribute on this edition of Plain Speak is Nainalal Kidwai, ex-FICCI president, Shiv Khera, author and academician, with us as well. Ms. Kidwai, let me begin by asking you, it's the vision that Ratan Tata had for not just the Tata Group, but for India, putting India first, putting India on the global map as far as businesses were concerned, as far as seeing India as a business powerhouse is concerned. He pioneered that, isn't it?
Absolutely. We saw through his leadership a number of joint ventures that came into creation with the Tata Group, and they were very much the preferred joint venture partner for a lot of folks that engage with India. We also saw acquisitions by the group offshore, big ones like the Chorus acquisition, which was $11 billion at its time in 2007, which was absolutely huge. The Jaguar Land Rover acquisition in around the same time in 2008. Techly, which had happened earlier in 2000. So across different domains, hotels like Pierre, etc. So every one of the Tata companies seeking to go global through acquisitions as well. And I can only tell you that through a large number of global chairmen, CEOs who I was with, accompanying them into meetings with Mr. Tata, it was always something that had to be there on an itinerary for visitors in India. And he never disappointed. Meetings started on time. Meetings were always engaged. He had questions because of the curiosity he always showed in learning and wanting to understand, but equally sharing his vision and the frankness with which he did that, and the humility. And of course, making sure that he walked each one out to the lift. Just his humility, his particular brand of the way he would handle everyone, and really was a fabulous ambassador for India.
Absolutely. Perhaps the best brand ambassador India could have had as a country. The real Ratna that we lost today in Ratan Tata. And Shiv Khera, it's the man that Ratan Tata is that also is often spoken of. Philanthropy is something that people often advertise, people often speak of. He was sort of the silent force as far as his philanthropic work was concerned. He was also someone who believed in speaking less, doing more, and for his actions to have spoken much, much louder than his words would ever have.
Poonam, all I can say is that there are not enough words to pay a tribute to a person like Ratan Tata. He was truly a Bharat Ratan. I repeat, he was truly a Bharat Ratan, and right from salt to software, he gave everything, and there is no Indian who has not been touched by the Tata Group or Tata companies or by themselves. And the way I have seen closely, they have been my clients. We worked for them with Tata Steels, Tanishq and a few others. Pretty much I have seen that the Tata Group, they have always been driven by one motivation is, and that is the country. People and the nation and the patriotism came always first, and profitability came after. I mean, when you look at it, the country has really become poorer today. Country has become very poor. There's not enough words. I'm running short of words. But this is one man who has probably given more into charity to benefit the country than the richest man in the country here today. Anyway, he has given more in charity than the richest man in India today. So a people like that, whenever we have to buy anything, people ask me, where do I go? I said, if it is a Tata product, if Tata manufactures it, just go straight to Tata. They say, we'll check up the price, make a comparison. I said, don't. You see, through him, we are serving our country, because 60%, 70% of the Tata's profits go into helping the underprivileged. And his driving force has always been the country and the people, including the nano car. If you remember, what was the driving force behind the nano car? He said, people who are riding on two-wheelers today, when they have an accident, most accidents become fatal. And people are not able to, families with small 2 or 3 kids, they can't go. And he said, I want to make a car where people can upgrade themselves from a two-wheeler into a four-wheeler and make them comfortable, at the same time save their lives. Look at the driving force and motivation behind it. It was not profit. He always understood that profit was a byproduct of service. I repeat, profit was a byproduct of service, ethical service, I repeat. And he gave the nation a very clear message that there is a big difference between making money versus earning money. And making money is criminal, earning money is spiritual. And earning means there was ethics and effort behind it. And the way I see it, we are into getting to Diwali time, and what a loss that the nation has faced today. And if I was the Prime Minister, probably I would have given out to the Tata Group to make 1,000 hotels and 1,000 hospitals in this country, and they would have done a great job. They started Air India, and sadly it was taken over without paying anything to these people, and then when given back, again the government took money from people like that who are patriots, and sadly these are people who deserve the Bharat Ratan rather than the ones who got it anyway. I think we need to come back to our basic values. I have seen enough entrepreneurs and billionaires have come and gone. Prime ministers and presidents have come and gone. You don't feel that bad. They came and went away, and many people deserve to go away much faster. Maybe it took a long time. But this is one person. I think not only India, but the whole world mourns it.
And that outpouring of grief was evident, because when he was being laid to rest at the Worli crematorium there, once the gates were open for the common public to come and pay their last respects, you saw hundreds of people rushing into that place. Despite all through the day, there was enough time for them to be at the NCPA to pay their respects, and yet we saw the kind of outpouring when the final salute was given to him, when the last goodbye was being bid before he was laid to rest. And I'll advise, as far as the kind of philosophy that all of the Tata...
If I have your permission.
Yes, Mr. Khera.
You see, the very important thing that I liked about Ratan Tata is he was an Indian first and Parsi second. Today, many people become so communal, and that's what they are depicting everywhere. He was an Indian all the way, end to end, a great patriot, and he never put the Parsi part ahead of Indian. He put India first, and everything followed. I don't have any more words to say beyond it.
Now, like I was asking you, that kind of philosophy that he followed through and through all of his ventures, all of the companies that the Tata Group has. And I say this as someone who's been associated with. My father used to work for a Tata Group company, and he always spoke of, the kind of sentiments that followed even through the last person, the last employee. I mean, it's not just someone at the top having said something. That percolated down to the last man in every single company.
You are so right. I think the value systems that each of the companies had was so deeply embedded in employees that they really wore the Tata culture, the Tata value systems very close to their heart. And in fact, there's a Harvard Business School case which talks about the terrorist attacks that happened in Mumbai on the Taj Hotel. And it studies why individuals, very young people, actually came forward well beyond the call of duty to help with people that were trapped in the rooms, and even against the wishes of their parents, going back in to support and help. And really amazing stories of courage that have emerged from there. And the question that Harvard Business School asks is, what is it about the value system that the groups like Tata, like the Indian hotels, were able to impart? And what is it they do to hire such people that can go beyond the call of duty at the risk to life to serve in the way they did? And I think at the end of the day, it has to be said about something about the way they hire, how they treat people, and the empathy with which that value system is developed and the culture of the organizations that they run. Philanthropy runs deep. We know that certainly for a lot of people, the fact that you're well regarded by the community, that you contribute to the community, are part of those value systems and culture. And exactly as Mr. Khera has said, it runs very deep in the Tata Group. I would just add that in some of the work that I do in water and sanitation, one of the big projects that the Tata Trust supported was the Swachh Bharat Mission. And there was a call for action where Swachh Bharat Preraks, young IIT, IIMs, well-educated individuals, 600 of them, were actually hired and trained. It wasn't just the money, it was the training too. Were trained to go and join collectors down in rural India to help with the Swachh Bharat implementation. And what we saw in the Tata Group was the ability to rise, to institutionalize what went on to become one of the biggest and indeed most successful programs of the government, the Swachh Bharat Mission. And the speech which Mr. Tata made that day when this particular program was being launched was, I think, one of the most amazing speeches I've ever heard. And because of the way he captured focus on water, sanitation, and nutrition to create the health of a nation. And those messages, I think, still ring true and strong, but indicate that it wasn't just about money, it wasn't just about the programs that they supported, but also the heart and vision with which it was done.
Absolutely, that path has been paved by him. He leaves behind a void, but he also leaves behind inspiration for not just people here in India, but around the world as well, which is why we saw the kind of tributes that came to the fore. I have to leave it at that. I thank you both for joining us here and sharing your tributes for this icon that India has lost today. We are slipping into a quick break on this edition of Plain Speak, but don't go anywhere. We'll be
Lights! Iconic industrialist and one of the most respected businessmen of India, Ratan Tata was born to Parsi parents Naval and Sunu Tata in Bombay in 1937. Ratan was raised by an indulgent yet disciplinarian grandmother Nawajbai along with younger brother Jimmy after their parents were separated. Life was luxurious for the young Tatas, but their grandmother instilled a strong set of values in them. Young Ratan played a lot of cricket, learned the piano while leading a protected life. Ratan Tata studied in Bombay's famous schools Campion and Cathedral and John Cannon. He would say later that he was shy, fearful of public speaking and not into too many extracurricular activities. After school, Ratan Tata set sail to the United States to study architecture and structural engineering at Cornell University. The years he spent in the US from 1955 to 1962 had a tremendous influence on him. He traveled the country and was ready to settle down in Los Angeles. But his love affair with America broke as Lady Nawajbai's health deteriorated and he was forced to return to a life he thought he had left behind. In India, he had a job offer from IBM, but JRD Tata wouldn't allow him to join there and asked for his resume. That's how Ratan Tata joined Tata Industries in 1962 as an assistant and spent 6 months at Telco and Tisco plants in Jamshedpur. In 1965, he was appointed technical officer in Tisco's engineering division, and in 1969, he worked as the Tata Group's resident representative in Australia. In 1965, he was appointed technical officer in Tisco's engineering division, and in 1969, he worked as the Tata Group's resident representative in Australia. He returned to India in 1970 to join Tata Consultancy Services for a short stint. His first big job was with Nelco, where he was made director in charge in 1971. In 1974, he joined the board of Tata Sons as a director and rose to become chairman of Tata Industries in 1981. In 1991, as the Indian economy was on the threshold of liberalization, Ratan Tata took over from JRD Tata as chairman of Tata Sons to run the group founded by his great-grandfather more than 100 years ago. He soon started restructuring the Tata Group. The group not only achieved spectacular growth, but it was under his leadership that the Tata Group saw a series of high-profile acquisitions like Tetley, Chorus and Jaguar Land Rover. The billionaire's empire extended from salt to the world's second-largest tea business to giants in steel, software and hotels. A car enthusiast himself, in 2008, Ratan Tata launched the Tata Nano, his dream project of small but super cheap cars for millions of Indians. It came to be known as the People's Car.
The world is paying tribute today. The doyen of Indian industry, Ratan Tata, Reliance Industries chairman Mukesh Ambani too, penned an emotional note to bid farewell to his dear friend. He wrote how today was a sad day for India and India Inc. and Ratan Tata's passing was a big loss not just to the Tata Group but to every single Indian. He said at a personal level, the passing away of Ratan Tata has filled him with immense grief as he lost a dear friend. Ratan Tata was a visionary industrialist and a philanthropist who always put society's greater good above all else. Mr. Ambani went on to say that India has lost one of its most illustrious and kind-hearted sons.
Lights! Iconic industrialist and one of the most respected businessmen of India, Ratan Tata was born to Parsi parents Naval and Sunu Tata in Bombay in 1937. Ratan was raised by an indulgent yet disciplinarian grandmother Nawajbai along with younger brother Jimmy after their parents were separated. Life was luxurious for the young Tatas, but their grandmother instilled a strong set of values in them. Young Ratan played a lot of cricket, learned the piano while leading a protected life. Ratan Tata studied in Bombay's famous schools Campion and Cathedral and John Cannon. He would say later that he was shy, fearful of public speaking and not into too many extracurricular activities. After school, Ratan Tata set sail to the United States to study architecture and structural engineering at Cornell University. The years he spent in the US from 1955 to 1962 had a tremendous influence on him. He traveled the country and was ready to settle down in Los Angeles. But his love affair with America broke as Lady Nawajbai's health deteriorated and he was forced to return to a life he thought he had left behind. In India, he had a job offer from IBM, but JRD Tata wouldn't allow him to join there and asked for his resume. That's how Ratan Tata joined Tata Industries in 1962 as an assistant and spent 6 months at Telco and Tisco plants in Jamshedpur. In 1965, he was appointed technical officer in Tisco's engineering division, and in 1969, he worked as the Tata Group's resident representative in Australia. In 1965, he was appointed technical officer in Tisco's engineering division, and in 1969, he worked as the Tata Group's resident representative in Australia. He returned to India in 1970 to join Tata Consultancy Services for a short stint. His first big job was with Nelco, where he was made director in charge in 1971. In 1974, he joined the board of Tata Sons as a director and rose to become chairman of Tata Industries in 1981. In 1991, as the Indian economy was on the threshold of liberalization, Ratan Tata took over from JRD Tata as chairman of Tata Sons to run the group founded by his great-grandfather more than 100 years ago. He soon started restructuring the Tata Group. The group not only achieved spectacular growth, but it was under his leadership that the Tata Group saw a series of high-profile acquisitions like Tetley, Chorus and Jaguar Land Rover. The billionaire's empire extended from salt to the world's second-largest tea business to giants in steel, software and hotels. A car enthusiast himself, in 2008, Ratan Tata launched the Tata Nano, his dream project of small but super cheap cars for millions of Indians. It came to be known as the people's car due to its affordable pricing. The project hit a roadblock in Singur and had to shift to Gujarat. In December 2012, he stepped down as chairman of Tata Sons after 50 years with the Tata Group and was appointed chairman emeritus of Tata Sons. A big backer of education and healthcare, Ratan Tata generously funded many philanthropic projects, prominent research institutes and cancer hospitals. After his retirement, not one to sit still, he quietly helped young and bright minds by investing millions in their startups. Ratan Tata's unconditional love for dogs is well known, and he built a pet hospital in Mumbai. He is once said to have missed an invitation from Prince Charles.
Brought to you by
Iconic industrialist and one of the most respected businessmen of India, Ratan Tata was born to Parsi parents Naval and Sunu Tata in Bombay in 1937. Ratan was raised by an indulgent yet disciplinarian grandmother Nawajbai along with younger brother Jimmy after their parents were separated. Life was luxurious for the young Tatas, but their grandmother instilled a strong set of values in them. Young Ratan played a lot of cricket, learned the piano while leading a protected life. Ratan Tata studied in Bombay's famous schools Campion and Cathedral and John Cannon. He would say later that he was shy, fearful of public speaking and not into too many extracurricular activities. After school, Ratan Tata set sail to the United States to study architecture and structural engineering at Cornell University. The years he spent in the US from 1955 to 1962 had a tremendous influence on him. He traveled the country and was ready to settle down in Los Angeles. But his love affair with America broke as Lady Nawajbai's health deteriorated and he was forced to return to a life he thought he had left behind. In India, he had a job offer from IBM, but JRD Tata wouldn't allow him to join there and asked for his resume. That's how Ratan Tata joined Tata Industries in 1962 as an assistant and spent 6 months at Telco and Tisco plants in Jamshedpur. In 1965, he was appointed technical officer in Tisco's engineering division, and in 1969, he worked as the Tata Group's resident representative in Australia. In 1965, he was appointed technical officer in Tisco's engineering division, and in 1969, he worked as the Tata Group's resident representative in Australia. He returned to India in 1970 to join Tata Consultancy Services for a short stint. His first big job was with Nelco, where he was made director in charge in 1971. In 1974, he joined the board of Tata Sons as a director and rose to become chairman of Tata Industries in 1981. In 1991, as the Indian economy was on the threshold of liberalization, Ratan Tata took over from JRD Tata as chairman of Tata Sons to run the group founded by his great-grandfather more than 100 years ago. He soon started restructuring the Tata Group. The group not only achieved spectacular growth, but it was under his leadership that the Tata Group saw a series of high-profile acquisitions like Tetley, Chorus and Jaguar Land Rover. The billionaire's empire extended from salt to the world.
A very good evening. You're watching The Right Stand with me, Kritsween Walia. Well, viewers, another round of fireworks has emerged from the national capital, which once again signals our tensions between the Delhi government and its bureaucracy. Viewers, the latest fight is taking place over the official residence of the Delhi